Hey, what's up, stay-at-homies? Hope you're doing great. So I'm going to get caught up on my feelings mandala. We're actually almost finished. It's almost the end of April. Can you believe it? Okay, so today I want to try some shadow art. Now, this is something you might be able to do outside depending on what kind of space you're in, or if you are maybe heading out for walks with your family. Maybe you could ask if you could bring some paper and some different objects to try this out along the way. Maybe stop for a couple of minutes and give it a try. I'm going to do my best to do it inside just because it's a little bit easier for me to film it and to show you. And it might work better for you to do it inside too. It's just sort of up to you, up to your family, what you have going on today. So I will do my best to show you shadow art using a lamp inside, and then you can see what you can figure out. Okay, so for my shadow art, I'm going to start with a piece of paper. I've got a pencil ready. And what I've done is brought a lamp from a different part of my house into this room so that it's kind of shining almost the way that the sun would shine down. So the other thing that I've done is just looked around for a few different objects that have kind of interesting shapes. So I have this little figurine that you can kind of change the poses a little bit. So I might try something like that, or something from my toy collection. Could also use just different objects that I have around the room. This is kind of my workspace in my house, so I have things like scissors, and then I just have a little jar so that the scissors can stand up. I've got some tape, a little tube of paint that has an interesting shape in the top there that might kind of be cool, some glue. I just sort of grabbed whatever. And what I'm going to do on my paper is do different layers of shadows. So my goal isn't actually to make my picture look like these things. I'm just going to trace the shapes in different ways and have them overlap and then see how it looks. Now, I could try to actually make it look like the object. So if you have like a really special toy and maybe you're trying to do a cool picture of that toy, you might want to do that where you try to set it up so that you can trace around the shape of the object. Like I said, that's not going to be my goal today. I'm just looking to make some interesting artwork. I don't really have an idea in my head of how it's going to look because I've never done this before. So it's just another experiment, just another chance for me to try something new and see what happens. So what you're going to see on the screen is my lamp shining down on my paper. And then I'm going to put different objects so that they make a nice shadow. And I'm going to trace and switch the objects and move things around. I might even turn my paper. So I might do my first part here, and then I might turn it and trace something over here. I honestly don't know. I can't really give you my plan because I don't really have a plan. So that's one of the fun things, one of my favorite things about art is that it's just like playing. It's just like playing around. So I'm not the kind of person who is like, okay, I'm going to go paint a picture of a flower, or I'm going to go paint a picture of a sunset. I'm kind of like, I'm just going to go play around and see what happens. And so sometimes I'm mixing colors together or I'm tracing weird shadows, and I usually don't really know how it's going to turn out until I'm all done. And that means that sometimes I really like what happens and I think, oh yeah, that's so cool. And other times I'm like, oh, that didn't work. But I probably learned something while I was doing it, and I probably had fun. So it's not always about what it ends up looking like. A lot of times it's about just the fun that we're having and the learning that's taking place along the way. So let's give it a shot. So while I was tracing my shadows, I had a little visitor jump up. Hi. Mm-hmm. Yeah? Anything else? Of course. Okay, well, there you go. There's your little Gretchen hello for today. She'll probably keep doing this. Won't you? Yeah, she likes to talk. I don't know where she gets it from. So what I ended up with is just a bunch of different layers. So I was just kind of moving things around, testing it out. I would set an object down and so it appears that our friend Gretchen was not getting enough attention back there. So now she's decided to stick her butt in your face. It's very pleasant. I'm sure everybody really appreciates that. You just okay, taking a little break. Well, we seem to have a bit of a technical difficulty here. There is a large cat on my project. Yeah, just okay. So she does not appear to be too interested in moving out of the way right at this time. Oh. So now that I've done my shadow tracing, the next thing is I get to decide how much color I would like to add and what materials I would like to use. So there's so many different options for this. What my shadow tracing has created is all these interesting little shapes. So like I mentioned, my goal was not to make it look like all of the objects that I traced. I just wanted to make some interesting shapes, and now that I have those, I'm going to color them in different ways. Now, I tend to like using a lot of color, as you may have noticed. I'm going to try to challenge myself to leave some white space in this project. So that's something that's a little bit different for me. Normally, I would paint or color in every single area using lots of different colors, but that's what I would usually do. So I'm going to try something different where I only choose certain colors, or I only choose... Hello, trying to do something here. Do you mind? I'm only going to choose certain spaces to color in, and I'm going to leave some of them white. Now I could, Gretchen, like we can't even see, you're so beautiful. Just look at how beautiful she is. Just posing in the spotlight. Ay, ay, ay. I can't. So for some of the art projects that we have done together on Fun Stuff, I have just kind of chosen one type of art supply to complete a project. So for example, when we did map art last week, I chose to paint, and I painted the entire thing. When we did scribble art a few weeks ago, I did a few different examples where I used different materials, but on one picture, I only used one. So I did an entire picture with just marker, an entire picture with just crayon, and so on. So I'm kind of thinking for today, because I'm just in the mood to try different things, I might choose one or two colors, but then instead of using all the same materials, so like all marker, all paint, whatever, I might use those same colors but with different materials. So if I was in a purplish mood, I might use purple marker, purple paint, purple crayon. Maybe even a purple pencil crayon if I can dig one out from somewhere. We'll see what happens. I'm going to do my colored portions first. Once the paint is dry, then I'll go back and decide which parts of my design I want to have an outline. and then I'll go in and erase whatever pencil marks I don't want. So this is really an experiment. I have no idea what it's going to look like. I'm having a really hard time deciding what colors I feel like. Ooh. I was feeling sort of purplish, and I'm feeling a little bit yellowish. So I'm going to go purple, yellow, black outline. We'll see. Okay, so I have been painting and coloring using my different materials with only purple and yellow, although I do have a few different shades of purple, different shades of yellow, just because of the supplies that I have. I think it's looking pretty cool. I think I'm going to stop with the color, because remember how I said I'm trying to challenge myself to leave some white space, which is really hard for me because I really want to color everything in. And I was like this close to grabbing bright green and just being like, I want to do 3 colors. But I said I was going to do 2. This is difficult for me. I'm trying to like grow a little bit here. I think I'll do a black outline around all the parts that I've colored. And what I actually tried to do is make sure that they were all connected somehow, even if it was just like a little corner touching a little corner. So this is kind of fun. I am going to go ahead and erase all of the pencil lines so that you'll only be able to see the purple, the yellow, and the black outline. Have some fun with it and just explore and experiment and don't stress out. If you make something you don't like it, make something else. All good. That's it for me today. Hope you had fun. Until next time, be brave, be kind, and wash your hands. Bye!